Welcome, welcome, welcome to the SupaTea podcast show. So I know this week's episode is at a different time. Nonetheless, I thought and felt that it's still important to stay committed to doing Soulful Saturdays every week. And this week we are still in The Seat of the Soul by Gary Zukov. And we are now approaching chapter 3. So you know here at the Super Tea Podcast Show that our tea is matcha tea. And you'll find the acronyms for all of that in the description. So make sure you check out the description during, before, whenever you choose to, afterwards, whenever you choose to. We have the good vibes here, and I am the one and only me. Now, I do have an artist name, and my artist name is Nikita Black. And if you can tell, I'm a vocalist. But without any further ado, this is not about my vocals. This is about diving deep into spirituality, the things that we don't see but we do feel, and discovering more of our authenticity, the divinity that's within us. Before I start reading, I do want to say that I know a lot of people are very emotional right now with what's going on in my nation. And there's a lot of things that's going on in all of the nations all over the planet that is stirring a lot of different emotions. However, if you are seeing this, no matter what is going on outside of your dwelling, no matter what's going on in your nation, I am encouraging you to find something to be grateful for. If you have the opportunity to hold this device and to hear this episode, that in of itself means that you have a resource in your hand. And that is something to be grateful for. If you had the opportunity to put something in your stomach, even if it was something small, something at all today, that is a reason to be grateful for. If you have clothes on your back and you're not out in the freezing cold, that is something to be grateful for. And it is my sincere desire to see us, all of humanity, actually dwell in peace. It is a very, very possibility. It starts with each individual, each individual choosing what to focus their attention on, choosing to be healed and to be healthy, and discovering ways that they can heal and ways that they can be healthy, and applying those ways to their lives on a daily basis, and reevaluating themselves and building a community that will support them at their healthiest and at their best, and for them really being honest with themselves and recognizing whether they are or not, if they need to improve. There's always room for growth. However, it is up to each of us individually, and then we can come together collectively to produce the peace and to produce new systems that will sustain a happy, healthy, peaceful, joyful, wonderful, euphoric earth, and nations and cities and communities and families. Like, yes, we can have those things in all of those different components of our lives. So that is my sincere desire, starting with myself, because how can I start anywhere else? I encourage you all to do the same. There are so many thought leaders out there. So you don't have to stay stuck to one. You don't have to even stay loyal to one. You just need to be loyal to yourself and know that you have divinity inside of you. And whoever is encouraging you at the moment is good for you. So explore. You have this device. Look up other thought leaders, look up other spiritual teachers, and do your work. Do your work. So I'm having some chlorophyll water. I'm on the East Coast here in the United States of America. Yes, the Republic for which it stands, one nation under God, with liberty and justice for all. And it is about a little bit after 3 a.m. I had a very good Saturn's day. They say it was the last day that the six planets were in alignment. Let's see if I can name them. I know one was Saturn, one was Venus, one was Pleiades. Oh gosh, one was Mars. That's four. Uh, One was like Alternative. I don't even know what the other one was. One started with an A. One was a planet I'd never even heard of before. And I think the last one was Venus. I think I've actually named all six of those planets. It's marvelous. And apparently, they've been in alignment and visible for this past week. And I heard a little bit of it, a buzz of it, but I've been very, very busy with preparing for a performance that's coming up next week, also studying, and also uh, working. A lot happened last week. And I planned on putting some braids in my hair, but I guess I'm going with the 90 Girls look. And so I got this little doobie going on right here, just like so, like that. With the big earrings and all of that. Technically, I sort of am a 90s girl, but anyway, it is 2025. So I am here in the here and now, and I'm a little tired. I ain't gonna front like I'm not sleepy right now, but I made this choice and this commitment, so I'm following it through. And I know some people will be like, "Oh, well, it's after midnight, so technically it's not Saturday." That's your opinion, and my opinion. As long as the sun is not up, it is still the day before. The new day starts when the sun rises. This always starts at 12 o'clock thing. That's a man construct. That's a man thing. For me, how I acknowledge a new day is when the sun is up. So since the sun is not up, it is not Sunday to me. Now, you can interpret time however you choose to. That is my preference. Doesn't mean that I don't acknowledge the actual hour that it is. It just means it's not a new day to me. With that being said, I'm going to jump into our third chapter, reverence. Okay. The framework of karma and reincarnation in which we evolve is neutral. Actions and reactions in the physical arena set energy into motion, forming our experiences and revealing in the process the lessons that the soul has yet to learn. When our actions create discord in another person, we ourselves in this lifetime or in another will feel that discord. Likewise, if our actions create harmony and empowerment in another, we also will come to feel that harmony and empowerment. This allows us to experience the effects of what we have created and thereby to learn to create responsibly. The framework of karma and reincarnation is impersonal and provides for each soul in response to the acquisitions of its personalities. I'm sorry, not acquisitions. And the framework of karma and reincarnation is impersonal. We're going to start this paragraph over again. And provides for each soul in response to the actions of its personalities, the experiences that it requires in order to evolve. Therefore, the orientation or the attitude with which a personality approaches the evolutionary process determines the nature of the experiences that will be required for the evolution of its soul. An angry personality, for example, will respond to the difficulties of its life with anger and thereby bring into being the necessity of experiencing the results of anger, A sorrowful personality will respond sorrowfully and bring into being the necessity of experiencing the results of sorrow and so on. So, obviously, a happy personality will respond to the challenges with happiness. And I know you're like, huh? How do you do that? How do you respond to a challenge happily? You take the time to look at the bigger picture. You take the time to see what it is in that challenging moment that you can be grateful for, you could be happy, you could feel good about. But I'm going to continue to go on because this I feel will bring clarity when we see others, or even if you are experiencing this emotion. It will give you more insight to this emotion and remind you that if you take an action while experiencing that emotion, that you are actually creating things to respond with that same emotion in your life. So that's why we need to learn to create responsibly, because we all are co-creators of our own life experiences. And when we're worrying or we're doubting or we're dealing with negative emotions, then those are the things that we are attracting into our lives. And so forth. So if we're being positive, we're being happy, and we're being grateful, then we are attracting and we are creating more things in our lives to be grateful for and to be happy about. And I am a witness of this. I am experiencing this literally every day in my life. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Sometimes, I was going to say a lot of times, but sometimes I'm like literally stuck because I'm just like, I'm just sitting and enjoying whatever it is. It could be something that somebody might think is minute, but to me it's so huge because it was a thought that I put out there and I didn't even think about when it was going to come into fruition. But then it's in fruition like so quickly. I just put it out there and went on about my day, minded my business, and the opportunity for it to be in fruition presents itself, and ta da da, I'm even more grateful. I'm even more happy. And it literally is how I live my life on a daily basis. Today, I don't want to get too far from the book because sometimes when I'm sleepy, I can talk a bit. I want to see. Reverence is a big chapter. Let's see. Reverence is 10 pages. Not too big. I don't want to give it yet too much. But today I had such a good day. I put on my music. I cleaned up my entire space, energetically and physically. I mean, I had my sandalwood. I had my sage. I had my frankincense and myrrh. I have my music. I created a whole playlist for myself, um, just to be uplifting, and I fasted, and I didn't even plan on fasting. It was just something that happened because I was so busy moving around and taking little breaks, and then I got to doing my little doobie here, and this was way more tedious than I thought it would be. You know, I was like, oh, this is easy. This is gonna be quick. Oh no, it was not easy or quick, but it was so worth it. You know. And I washed and conditioned my own natural hair. Like, I just had a good day. And now I'm sitting here reading, doing my soulful Saturdays, having some chlorophyll water, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I'm very, very grateful. So I'm going to continue with the book. But I'm living proof that when you practice positive emotions, you definitely attract things in your life that are positive. And before anything happens, you have to visualize it. You have to feel it, even if you can't visualize it. Sometimes I have challenges visualizing, you know, because I have such a vivid imagination, and often they're like me perceiving things, you know, and so it's a little tricky for me to kind of project that per se. But I know that really is the feeling tone anyway, nonetheless. So I thought that I can do pretty easily because I can just find something to put my attention on that brings me joy, and then I'm in that vibration. So I'm gonna continue. A person who is angry and yet reveres life, however, will respond very differently to the difficulties of his or her life than a person who is angry and has no reverence for life. The person who has no reverence for life will not hesitate to strike out against life. The violence that is released in killing another person or another living creature is much greater than the violence that is released in speaking angry words. The karmic obligation, the energy imbalance that is created by killing, can be balanced only by the experience of a commensurated brutality. Thus, a person who is reverent will automatically be spared the severe karmic consequences of one who is not, even if all of our species were reverent. That would not end the need for us to move through our own evolution. It would just change the quality of the learnings within the process of evolution. In other words, if we became reverent this day, we would not be exempt from the demands of our evolution, but the quality of the experiences that we would encounter would be different. We would not harm life. We would still learn the same thing, but in the process of learning, we would not seek to harm or to destroy. Our journey from powerlessness to authentic empowerment would continue, but the nature of that experience would change. We would not encounter the types of experiences that result from a perception of the world that lacks reverence. We see life as cheap. This perception pervades all of our perceptions. When we look at the animal kingdom, for example, we see the activities within this kingdom as verification of our evaluation of life. We see animals kill and feed upon other animals, and we conclude that the weaker forms of life exist only to nourish the stronger. We justify our exploitation of life upon what we perceive to be the design of nature. We maim and kill. We create situations in which millions of people starve while we store grain in silos and pour milk down drains. We look upon each other as prey to satisfy our emotional and physical needs. We say it's a dog eat dog world, and that to survive in it, we must take advantage of others before they take advantage of us. We look upon life as a contest that produces winners and losers, and we feel no restraints upon us when the needs of other people or other groups threatens us. Our behavior and values are so much shaped by perceptions that lack reverence that we do not know what it is like to be reverent. When we curse a competitor or strive to disempower another person, we absent ourselves from reverence. When we work to take instead of to give, we labor without reverence. When we strive for safety at the expense of another person's safety, we deprive ourselves of the protection of reverence. When we judge one person as superior and another as inferior, we depart from reverence. When we judge ourselves, we do the same thing. Business, politics, education, sex, raising families, and personal interactions without reverence all produce the same result. Human beings using other human beings. I'm gonna pause right there because I witness this. I witness this and I see it, and I personally refuse to participate in that type of dealing. I do have reverence. It is tricky for me to even a bug. Like I don't thank God don't have to deal with them inside, but like outside, I see a bug, I'm just like going in another direction. Like it's coming towards me. And some bugs don't bother me like bees. Bees don't bother me. Bees always come near me. Bees land on me. Like that's one bug that doesn't bother me. But a fly, now fly, I might, but I ain't trying to smash it. I ain't trying to smash it. I'm just trying to get it away from me, or I'm trying to get away from it. So I personally feel that I do have reverence, and I feel like I utilize it in everything that I do. Not just for other life forms, but when I'm working or where I'm studying, and whatever I'm applying myself to, um, I feel that I am utilizing reverence and just showing that I really, really, really appreciate and respect where I am and whatever I'm learning or experiencing as well. So I'm going to continue to go. This is generally speaking about the state of humanity. However, before I continue, the state of humanity does not have to stay this way. This is bringing light to it. This book is just one of the things that brings light to the condition and explains why. Because I know people, I mean, I was one person who always asked this question, even as a little girl: why is there war? Why is it this? Why is it that? I used to ask a lot of questions, and as I got older, the answers came. And it's not because there's bad people, you know, it's because of this right here. It's lack of reverence, and it's part of. It's just so many different souls going through their own evolutionary process, and it would be great for us all, like in a snap of a finger or a blink of an eye, to like wake up to our glorious natures, realize we got divinity in us, realize there's abundance of everything, so we don't need to stash and fight and harm or kill. We don't need to do any of that stuff. Like, we don't. We just really don't. There's so much. There's so much food. There's so much resources. There's just literally so much on the planet itself, where we are also on. We're also on the same planet, with all the resources. But we have to have the perception to recognize it and to really be in a state of gratitude and not get caught up in the vibration of complaining and of worry, and all of that, all of those vibrations we can choose not to participate in. But I'm going to continue to go on with this book. Our species has become arrogant. We behave as though the earth was ours to do with as we please. I'm gonna stop right there. It's not. We're part of the ecosystem here, people. We don't own this shit. We don't own the earth, okay? We are a part of its ecosystem. So it is in our best interest and in the best interest of the earth to do things that are healthy for the earth and for us, okay? But let's get back to the arrogance of some of our species, because it's not all of us. We are waking up, and I'm so grateful that we are waking up. We behave as though the earth was ours to do with as we please. We pollute its lands, ocean, and atmosphere to satisfy our needs without thinking of the needs of the other life forms that live upon the earth, or of the needs of the earth itself. We believe that we are conscious and that the universe is not. How silly. How silly. I was very conscious, and that's why I'll be like, me and Mother Nature, we cool. Me and Gaia, we cool. Like, I don't want no beefs. Like, y'all act like volcanoes don't exist. Y'all act like earthquakes don't happen. Y'all act like tsunamis don't happen. Y'all act like tornadoes don't happen. Like, all of those forces, I'm good, Earth. We're cool. We're cool. Like, we're cool. I love you, Earth. Earth, you love me. I'm here to do good work, whatever I can. Good for you, Earth. Good for me, Earth. I'm doing it. And it acknowledges it. I'm telling you, the earth acknowledge. How could we be conscious and the earth not conscious just because it doesn't communicate in the way we communicate in? It does definitely communicate. You pay the fuck attention. You slow the heck down. You'll see that it definitely communicates with us. I'm gonna continue. We think and act as though our existence as living forces in the universe will end with this lifetime, and that we are responsible neither to others nor to the universe, and those things are not true. It is not possible for a reverent person to exploit his or her friends, coworkers, city, nation, or planet. It is not possible for a reverent species to create caste systems, child labor, nerve gas, or nuclear weapons. Therefore, it is not possible for a reverent person or a reverent species to accumulate the type of karma that such activities create. Why is this? What is reverence? Reverence is engaging in a form and a depth of contact with life that is well beyond what you see. That's not what it says there. It says well beyond the shell of form. That's basically what you see because you see form, right? And into essence, you feel. Reverence is contact with the essence of each thing and person and plant and bird and animal. It is contact with the interior of its beingness. Even if you cannot sense the interior, it is enough to know that the form, the shell, is merely an outer layer, and that underneath it is the true power and essence of who a person is or what a thing is present. That is what is honored in reverence. Process is honored in reverence. The unfolding of life, the maturation process, the process of growing through and coming into your own empowerment is a process that needs to be approached with reverence. The cycles of life need to be approached with reverence. They have been in place for billions of years. They are the reflection of the natural breathing of the soul of Gaia itself, the earth consciousness as it moves its force fields and guides the cycles of life. If these are revered, how can we look at something as exquisite as our earth, ecology, and do one thing that would risk the balance of this system? Like, I feel bad to even litter people. Honestly, I will unwrap something and stick the garbage in my pocket before I throw it to the outside on the floor. Now inside I might let it drop and don't pick it up for a week too. But outside it's going in my pocket. It's going somewhere. Or I'm finding a trash can. Excuse me. I'm gonna be on throughout this sporadically. Reverence is an attitude of honoring life. You do not have to be authentically empowered to be gentle with life or to love life. There are many people who are not authentically empowered, but who are quite reverent. They would harm nothing. Often it is the case that they are the most compassionate and the most loving people because they have suffered so much. Whether a person is reverent depends essentially upon whether he or she accepts the principle of the sacredness of life, any way that he or she defines sacred. Reverence is also simply the experience of accepting that all life is in and of itself of value. Reverence is not respect. Respect is a judgment. It is a response to the perception of qualities that we ourselves admire or have been taught to admire. Qualities that are admired by the people of one culture may not be admired by the people of another culture or by the people of a subculture or by another generation of the same culture. Therefore, what is respected by some people may not be respected by others. It is possible to respect one person and not respect another, but it's not possible to revere one person without revering every person. Reverence is a perception, but it is a holy perception. The perception of holiness is not one that we use continually. It is one that we apply to religion, but not to the process of evolution or the learning process of human life. And so we do not approach the need to learn and all of the learning experiences of our life with regard for their purpose against the background of spiritual development. Perceiving in this way is true reverence because it allows you to look at what you are going through and to see it within the framework of the evolution and the maturity or the maturation of your own spirit. It is true reverence because it enables you to look at all the evolutions that are taking place simultaneously with your own and all of the kingdoms of life and fully appreciate or at least see very differently how they unfold. Only when we see through eyes that lack reverence. For example, does the feeding of one animal upon another appear to be a cruel system instead of one where species learn to give to each other? Where there is a natural give and take and sharing of the energies between kingdoms, this is ecology. The natural redistribution of energy between kingdoms. It is only our kingdom, the human kingdom, that wants to warehouse energy, to use much more than it needs, and to store what it does not, so that the balance of the cycle is disturbed so dramatically. If each of us took only what he or she needed for that day, it would be perfect. Animals do not warehouse like us, except in the case of animals that need to for the winter. The perception of reverence allows us to see the interdependency of different species from a more comprehensive and compassionate perspective. It allows us to see the significance of each living creature and its experiences to the compassionate unfolding of the universe. This perspective is much less likely to create violent or destructive responses within us as we grow through our lives because it reveals in each moment the value of all life. Approaching and regarding life with an attitude of reverence permits the experience of being unempowered but not cruel. As you work towards becoming reverent, your tendencies towards harming others and other forms of life diminish. As you acquire a sense of reverence, you develop a capacity to think more deeply about the value of life before you commit your energy to action. When you are fully reverent, you cannot harm life, even though you may be unempowered. Without reverence, the experience of being unempowered can become a very cruel one because a disempowered person is a scared person. And if it says frightened, but I just had to say scared because they be scared. Frightened and scared, same thing, right? And if you scared, you ain't got no sense of reverence. You, he, she, whoever, they will harm or kill indiscriminately. because they are afraid. Reverence is a level of protection and honor about the process of life, so that while a person is maturing towards the journey and through the journey of authentic empowerment, he or she harms nothing because we have no reverence. Our journey to empowerment often includes the experiences of victimizing life. Therefore, there are victims and victimizers. The process of destroying life while we are learning about life that has characterized our evolution would cease, or at least would be very different if we all approach life with the quality of reverence. It is because some have no sense of reverence, no true belief in the holiness of all life, that life is destroyed and tortured, brutalized, starved, maimed, while some journey from empowerment, unempowerment rather, to empowerment. If a sense of reverence was brought into the process of evolution, then as each of us in our species move through the cycle of being unempowered to becoming empowered, the many learnings that are contained within that growing process of evolution would not likely produce violence and fear to the extent that it's being experienced, unfortunately, now for the moment. But again, things could change in the snap, in the snap, in the snap. Of course, it takes every individual actually living from that perspective, right? That holy perspective, and not thinking of just like religious activities, but realizing that every part of life has an essence to it. Plants, animals, insects, birds, all of that, fish, all of life has an essence to it. When you have reverence for life, you are looking beyond what you see and you're connecting with that. And you have already acknowledged that you have that inside of yourself. You acknowledge there's a bigger part to you than what you see when you look in the mirror. You know, let me continue to read though. The destructions of human life, plant life, animal life, and the planet would be considerably diminished or would cease if there was an active principle of reverence within our species. If there was a perception within our species and within each of us that although we are engaged in evolutionary processes that require personal learning, that does not authorize us to destroy life while we are learning or because we are learning. We would not have the karmic energy of destruction, only of learning. Even though learning is contained in destruction, the karmic consequences of participating in violence and destruction are a high price to pay for it. It's not necessary. In other words, to learn what we need to learn and have it cost somebody his or her life, it is not necessary for progress and the experience of progress to cost the destruction of nature. It ain't necessary. But without a sense of reverence for life, who cares that it destroys life? Without reverence, life becomes a very cheap commodity, as it is upon our planet with some people, where the entire process and sacredness of evolution is not regarded, accepted, or honored. If we perceive life with reverence and understood our evolutionary process, we would stand in awe at the experience of physical life and walk the earth in a very deep sense of gratitude. This is the space I'm in, people. Like deep, deep sense of gratitude. And I have reminders all over the house. Gather here with grateful hearts. Believe peace. Like, oh. I just want everybody to experience it. and make it a way of their life. And it doesn't have to look like mine. Like, I'm not saying live like me. I'm saying experiencing gratitude every freaking day. That's why I can look at just the things that people would look over and say, thank you. Thank you for this, thank you for that, thank you for this, thank you, 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 and thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm gonna start all over again. Oh, that's the right player. Excuse me. If we perceived life with reverence and understood our evolutionary process, we would stand in awe at the experience of physical life and walk the earth in a very deep sense of gratitude. I did start the paragraph over. As it is, there are billions of human beings who are filled with regret that they're on the frickin' earth. Really? I don't know if this is still true. When was this book written? Fire stuff. This book was written in 1989. Okay, we have evolved past this. Um, it might be a few 100,000 that's, feel that way, but not billions, not anymore, not 2025, okay? So I'm going to be correcting some things because we are in a different time. However, this wisdom is a timeless wisdom because it was showing the condition that the majority was in. I do not feel that we are still the majority still in that right now, because things are changing and they're changing rapidly, and more people are creating responsibly and evolving differently. But I'm going to continue to read this book. I didn't know this book was that old. I should have kind of known, but I didn't. Anyway, let's continue. Um, there's humans that are filled with regret that they're here. Um, they have experiences of pain, despair, discouragement, depression, starvation, disease. Those are the things that some people experience on our planet. And they result largely from the fact that the human condition, that they're not having any reverence for life. Reverence is not just a perception of your mind. Reverence is a perception of the soul. Only the personality can perceive life without reverence. Reverence is a natural aspect of authentic empowerment because the soul reveres all of life. Therefore, when the personality is aligned with the soul, it cannot perceive life except with reverence. Approaching life with reverence not only protects the soul from the karmic obligations that are created by personalities that do not honor life, but is also a step towards moving the personality into alignment with the soul because it brings an aspect of the soul directly into the physical environment. What does the decision to approach life with reverence mean in practical terms? It means challenging the perceptions and the values of a five sensory world that lacks reverence. This is not always easy, especially for males who have been taught values that serve the accumulation of external power. An authentically empowered male will not be embarrassed or feel less than fully masculine by showing concern for life and for the many creatures of our planet. That is very much the energy of reverence. Therefore, the decision to approach life with reverence often requires courage, not only of men, but also of women who have adopted these values. The decision to become a reverent person is essentially the decision to become a spiritual person. There is currently no place for okay, well, again, this is written in the 80s. things have changed since then, and they are rapidly ever changing and evolving. And if you are here in my room, please go into the description, check out the wonderful links there, get you some merch, support a content creator here on YouTube. So I am going to say that at that point they separated spirituality from science, from politics, from business, from academia. Whereas now, what I am experiencing, and I know I'm not the only one that's experiencing it, spirituality has been, is, not has, is being acknowledged in all of these things. Spirituality is being acknowledged in science, spirituality is being acknowledged in business, spirituality is maybe not so much in business, but it is. Those people who are out there who are doing motivational speaking, that is a business. Producing natural products, you know, prayers, making prayers, candles. Like, there are people who have connected spirituality to business and they're very successful. Even studying, like academia, everything has an essence to it. So everything has an essence to it. Business, politics, science, academia. Therefore, everything has a spirit to it. So spirituality is involved with literally everything. Um, to a five sensory personality that lacks reverence, a reverent businessman or businesswoman appears to be competing at a disadvantage because the range of his or her activities is not unlimited. And a reverent politician appears to be unqualified for leadership in a world where the only power that is recognized is external power. Yet, to the multi-sensory human, where a lot of us are multi-sensory right now. A reverent businessman or businesswoman is a person who infuses a new energy into the archetype of entrepreneur. That would be me, mother of Matcha Madness Cafe. Actually, Matcha Madness LLC. But yes, we operate in DBA as Matcha Madness Cafe. Click the links. Go check out the links, man. Check out the links. Get you some matcha. Get you some matcha gear, okay? Get you some matcha gear. Um, yeah, I love it. Shifting from a dynamic that is motivated by profits that is generated by serving others to a dynamic of serving others that is made possible by profits. An irreverent politician is a person who challenges the concept of external power and brings to the political arena the concerns of the hearts. Therefore, the decision to approach life with reverence means acting and thinking as a spiritual person in a world that sometimes don't want to acknowledge the existence of spirit. It means moving consciously towards the perception of the multi-sensory human. To live with reverence means being willing to say that is life. We must not harm it. And those are our fellow humans. We must not destroy them and mean it. It means re-examining the way that we treat the members of the animal kingdom that serve us so patiently. It means recognizing the rights of earth, that the earth have rights in a concept that is not even present in our species yet. An attitude of reverence is the atmosphere, the environment in which the multisensory personality evolves. It is a sense of richness and fullness and intimacy of being. It creates compassion and acts of kindness. Without reverence, without the perception of the holiness of all things, the world would be cold, mechanical, random at the same time. And that's creating experiences of alienation and acts of violence. It's not natural. It's not natural for us to exist and to live. without reverence, because that separates us from the basic energy of the soul, which we all have. Yes, we do. We do. Reverence automatically brings forth patience. And patience is the desire to have your needs met first. When your needs are taken care of, do you not then have patience with the needs of others? A reverent person honors life in all its forms and in all its activities. It doesn't think in the terms that are required to produce impatience. Reverence permits non judgmental justice. The soul does not judge, and so the personality chooses to bring into physical reality another of its soul characteristics when it chooses to approach life with reverence. The reverent person cannot consider himself or herself superior to another person in any other form of life, because the reverent person sees divinity in all forms of life. I had to sing it and honors it. An attitude of reverence facilitates the transition from the logic and understanding of the five sensory human to the higher order of logic. Elevate it, elevate it, elevate your mind. Hey. An understanding of the most high sensory human. Because as we shall see, this higher order of logic and understanding originates in the heart chakra. Without reverence, our experiences are brutal and destructive. With reverence, our experiences become compassionate and caring. We shall come to honor all of life sooner or later. Wow, we have grown so much from then to now. Our choices, and there's still many who needs to grow. I know there are a lot that some of these things apply to when it comes to looking at things from the perspective of five senses and things, looking at things without reverence, other life without reverence. Yes, there's people in a whole bunch of different positions and places and spaces in life right now that are doing those things. However, there's so many more people who are approaching life with reverence and who are standing up and saying no to those who do not have reverence. So yeah, and becoming compassionate for them, because again, everybody is on their own individual sleepy zone. We sleep is more like 20 minutes, 25 minutes when we all there. But we all are on our individual evolutionary process, and everybody's not at the same stage, but we all are evolving. So we have reverence, our experiences become compassionate, become caring, we come to honor all of life. Our choices are when that shall happen, and the quality of the experiences that we shall have as we learn. So I'm grateful. I'm grateful, grateful, grateful. That is the end of chapter 3. And I'm going to put my bookmark in there. And we will be continuing in chapter 4 next Saturday. And I will have some updates on how the week has unfolded. What's next Saturday? Next Saturday, I think I have something to do next Saturday. I'm supposed to be going to an event next Saturday to celebrate my professor's 10-year anniversary of their business. Woo, go girl! Anywho, thank you for tuning into the SupaTea podcast show. I'm gonna slide over to those TikTok streets for a little bit, see what's happening, and please do check the information in the description, and you are free to comment, ask any questions. I'm looking to interact with you. If you want to be a guest here at the Super Tea Podcast Show, you just have to shoot me a message. You'll find me on every platform: Instagram, TikTok. Spotify has like my very first episodes. I maybe did like 3 interviews, at that point in time. That's when everything was just audio, auto. Everything was just a car. It was not a car. You could just hear. I didn't have to do all of this. Most of the time I don't do all of this. Okay, I just be like, whatever. This is what they gonna get. But my reverence for this opportunity that I have to slowly go through this book every week with my audience, and to just know that even if nobody is in the room and listening to the book while I'm live, that it's out there once it's published, which means countless people have the opportunity to interact with it, with this material, with this episode at a different time. So it's my honor to be of service, and share my insights, and to um, dive through this book with you all. So with that being said, thank you for tuning in to Soulful Saturdays. Make sure you click the links, like, share, subscribe, and be in reverence. Be grateful. Be mindful of what you put your attention and your energy to. Put it towards the things that feel good naturally. Thank you.